And good. Yeah. You're good to go, Nick.
Yeah, we're just waiting to let some people join.
Yeah.
So far, I'm just seeing a few Damians. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. Excited to be here today. Today we're talking about how smart dash cams make smarter fleets. We are going to give another minute or two to allow more people to join. I see we have a bunch of people joining in already. Thank you everyone for coming to join us today. I've been with Rearview Safety for a little while. We'll get into introductions in a moment. When I first started here, we used to do webinars pretty often. And it's something that's kind of fallen off a little bit. So I'm excited that we're doing this. This is a really, really exciting new product that we have, and it's something that we're excited to bring to market, something we think is going to be really, really big. And I'm glad to have the opportunity to help educate you guys on this product a little bit and how this can help make your fleet even more amazing than it already is. So again, I'm going to wait about one more minute just to see if we got a few more attendees joining. I see we have some more filtering in as I'm speaking. To give a quick overview while we're waiting, we're going to go through some points on this system we're offering here on AI dash cams in a more general sense as well. Some of the issues that people have with them and how we can help overcome those issues. At the end, we will be opening the floor up to some questions. So if you've got questions, if something comes up while we're going through this, feel free to jot it down, hang on to it. There will be a chance at the end for us to address your questions. All right, I think we can actually get underway here. So as we said, webinar today, how smart dash cams make smarter fleets. My name is Nick Wineberg. I am the Director of Fleet Sales here at Rearview Safety. I've been with Rearview Safety a little bit over 5 years now. Been an incredible journey. Been able to help a lot of fleets of all different sizes increase the safety of their drivers, of the people around their fleets in various different ways. With me is Lee Rabin. Lee, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Lee Rabin. I'm the head of business development at Jungo Connectivity. We're an Israeli-based software company specializing in driver monitoring AI software. So we've been in this business for quite a few years now, mainly selling to the before market to vehicle manufacturers, that is embedded systems. And yeah, I'm very excited to join this webinar. Obviously, we're going to help you guys understand a bit more about the system, and yeah, thanks.
Awesome, thanks, Lee. So for anyone that doesn't know, Rearview Safety, we've been a premier provider of vehicle safety products for many years, but something that we don't have is a robust software team. A system like this, in order for it to be successful and in order for it to really work, it requires a really, really good software. And we went out and we were able to partner with what we believe to be the best AI dashcam software provider, which is Jungo. And that's what Lee is doing with us here today. So the MobileMule AI that we are offering is powered by the Jungo software, which gives it all the capabilities that we're going to discuss today. So you can see here some of the things we're going to talk about. We'll discuss the problems that are addressed by AI dash cams. We'll talk about some of the obstacles that are preventing people from adopting this on a wider level, how we remove those obstacles with MobileMule AI. We'll show you a little bit of a demo of what the software is actually doing and what it's seeing and how it translates that into data. And then we'll go to a Q&A and take your questions. So in a more general sense here, we all know that tired or distracted drivers, they create a perfect storm for deadly incidents. We all drive, most of us, I'm assuming, are driving vehicles on a daily or near daily basis. I'm sure we've all fallen prey to distraction once or twice. It happens to the best of us. When you have people that are driving vehicles for a living and driving day in, day out, the propensity to get distracted, the ability to get distracted, it's going to be greater. All the things that we do when we're out of the vehicles, for some people, they're spending more time in them, and there's greater distractibility that's coming up for them. How do we overcome that? How do fleets overcome their drivers getting distracted? So one of the big things that's going on today, people are turning to AI-powered driver cameras to help them identify these behaviors. The cameras also act as a sort of co-pilot. So it helps the driver see things and help it avoid disasters, help it avoid incidents before they arise. But as we say here, mass adoption is still a work in progress. There are a number of reasons that we're going to get into that are preventing a wider adoption of these systems. Most of them, if not all of them, are more perceived than actual obstacles, and we're going to show you why they are not true obstacles to your fleet adopting systems like these. So let's jump into the next slide here. Talk about some of the problem areas that are addressed with this sort of these sort of systems, an AI dash camera. So distracted driving, as we said, it's an epidemic. It's enormous. It's enormously dangerous. It's enormously costly, both in human life and in monetary. So this year comes from the NETS. Crashes caused by distracted driving in 2019, they cost employers a total of $18.8 billion, or $72,000 on average per incident. That's a tremendous, tremendous number. I'm actually not sure if that's US only. I think it might be US only. That's just in the US. Worldwide, that number, I'm sure we can multiply it by a good number of times. In 2021, distracted driving claimed 3,522 lives. These are going to be lives inside the vehicles where the driver was distracted, and often outside the vehicles where the driver was distracted. In many cases, or in certain cases, fleets can be exposed to single judgments, occasionally upwards of $10 million. So a single incident, what we call nuclear verdicts, can come out of those, and a jury can award someone upwards of $10 million at times. This cost is going to the fleet, going to the fleet owner, and we want to help you prevent all of these here. We want to help prevent the costs. We want to help prevent the costs to human life as well. One interesting statistic that we have here, cell phones increase accident chances by 165%. I'm not a mathematician, but if I'm correct, that's about 2.5 times more likely to get into a car crash or into an accident if you're using a cell phone, or if a driver is using a cell phone. So obviously that is one of the chief things that people want to track today with AI software. And we're going to discuss and show you how the MobileMule AI, powered by Jungo, can track that very, very accurately and give warnings both to the drivers and to the fleet managers or fleet owners. Let's talk about some of the obstacles to mass adoption that we'd mentioned. So there are a lot of very big fleets out there that have already adopted this kind of technology. They are all over it. They understand the need for it. They see the benefits, and they've gone all in. So this is something that has been it has been taking off on bigger fleets. However, not all big fleets, and there are also a lot of smaller fleets, many smaller fleets out there, and many of those have been a little more hesitant. In many cases, they have a little bit of less leverage, we could say, with their drivers or with their driver unions. And driver pushback is going to be one of the chief concerns that are stopping people from installing systems like these in their vehicles. They understand the benefits. They understand how it's going to help them. They understand that it's going to reduce the risk and reduce the number of incidents that they're going to see. But they're very concerned with, or maybe they even encounter, pushback from their drivers in regards to an invasion of their privacy as they see it. So they see, there's going to be a camera inside my truck watching me while I'm driving. No way, right? That's one of the first things that one of the first roadblocks that people hit And that's not exclusive to AI dash cams. That is actually something that a lot of non-AI powered dash cams with a driver camera as well as a road-facing camera, they'll get that same pushback. However, as we'll discuss, AI powered dash cams can actually overcome that pushback without compromising on the safety advantages that you get by having a driver inside the cab, or sorry, having a camera inside the cab. In a similar vein, privacy and recording issues can sometimes conflict with local or corporate compliance. Same idea there. Another issue that people have with these kind of AI systems is false alarms. So if they're going through the footage, if they're going through any incident that their AI-powered dash cam is telling them occurred, they don't want to be sifting through 100 false alarms every day. That's time-consuming, and it also reduces their faith in the system's ability to accurately warn them of unsafe driver behavior. So that's something that has come up, and that's something that has kind of reduced people's adoption of AI-powered dash cams. And it's something that our system, we think, we know overcomes based on just having a more powerful software with more accurate data. And we'll show you how that works pretty soon. Another obstacle can be affordability of systems. And again, this is something more perceived than an actual obstacle. Many people feel they hear AI, it sounds big, it sounds expensive. They're going to right away just assume that it's something that's not going to be in their budget. It's not something they can afford. We have an AI system that is going to be, in most cases, less costly than your average dash camera system that doesn't have these AI capabilities. So let's talk about how the MobileMule AI removes some of these obstacles. So one thing that's very cool with the MobileMule AI is our multi-level privacy. What that means is you have a camera facing the road, you have a camera facing the driver. The camera facing the driver has a few different options in how it can record. It can record full video inside the cab, same as the road-facing camera. It can also record the same video, but with a blurred effect over the driver. And it can also record that same video, quote unquote, but completely blacked out. So the camera is running inside. The camera, the AI that powers that camera is recognizing all the unsafe driver behaviors, no matter how the video is recorded, whether in full clarity, blurred, or blacked out. But regardless of that, we're still recognizing all of those unsafe driver behaviors. It's still tracking the driver behaviors, but a driver's concern about their privacy being invaded is alleviated in such a case. So if a fleet has a lot of pushback, the drivers say, no way, I don't want video inside the cab. I'm driving in this truck all day. I don't want someone watching me all day. You can have the ability to track their unsafe behaviors while still not recording video of them all the time. That's really amazing. It's something pretty unique, and just right there, you overcome the most frequently encountered obstacle to dash cams and cameras in-cab cameras. Highly advanced software and analytic accuracy increases over time. So we're starting out with a very high baseline for accuracy in terms of recognizing unsafe behaviors. The Jungo software is incredible. It's been developed over many years. This isn't something that was rushed to market. This is something that they really took their time with and have a phenomenal software. And it does a really, really good job of recognizing what is actually an unsafe driver behavior and what is not. But to compound that, over time, the system learns, and it learns to recognize the driver's behaviors and understand better, to differentiate better between what is actually an event or an unsafe driver behavior and what is just regular driving behavior. Another way that we remove the obstacle to adoption is our low cost, an intuitive user interface, and comprehensive software. So the cost of our system, as I mentioned, is in most cases lower than competing dash cams, which do not offer these AI capabilities. So they'll offer the same recording in cab and driver. Often they'll have, similarly, they'll have a software that you can access and live access features similar to that, but without this huge AI component, which does such an amazing job of helping us to coach the drivers and understand their behaviors when they're behaving unsafe on the road. Lowering accident rates, insurance premiums, and reducing our litigative exposure. So as with any dash cam, you're going to be protected from lawsuits in many cases. There are a number of statistics out there, none of which I have in front of me, but commercial vehicles are on the receiving end of the blame in a very high percentage of accidents they're involved in. However, they are actually at fault in a much, much lower percentage. Commercial vehicle drivers tend to be pretty experienced. They tend to be, they do this a lot, and they're pretty good at what they do for the most part. However, because they're a bigger vehicle, a lot of times they're going to end up getting the blame. Now, any dash cam will help you reduce your exposure to lawsuits by being able to prove that your driver was not at fault. Right there, I mean, the cost savings, as we said, can be in the millions easily, or in the tens of thousands for single incidents easily, just by being able to prove that your driver was not at fault in an incident where someone was seriously injured or property was seriously damaged. In any of those cases, having the proof will reduce your cost instantly and enormously. Most of the time, one incident where you're able to prove your driver was not at fault, you're already paying off your whole system for years, for your whole fleet in some cases. But when we talk about an AI-powered dash cam, we can also lower accident rates by recognizing driver behaviors, and we can reduce those accidents where the driver actually is at fault, where your driver actually is at fault, and where you would have to pay even with recording. By having a system that recognizes the driver's unsafe behaviors, we can see it when it happens before an accident occurs. So when we have a report and we could see driver B has 6 cell phone incidents in this week, or 10 distracted incidents in this week, we can coach those drivers, we can speak to those drivers, and we can make sure that they get an understanding of what they need to do and prevent any incidents that could be costly, like we said, monetarily or in human life, before they occur. I'm going to turn it over to Lee here to speak a little bit about the web portal and what it would look like for you as a fleet owner or fleet manager to actually be interfacing with this software on a day-to-day basis. So Lee, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Nick. So basically, the main functionality of MobileMule AI is to prevent accidents. Of course, there is a value for video documentation of incidents, etc. But there are two, let's say, essential premises that we took under consideration. One is that if a driver is looking at his mobile phone or his cell phone, or he's texting, or if, God forbid, somebody falls asleep behind the wheel, which unfortunately happens, then he will receive an alert that will kind of push him back to looking at the road and focus on driving. But at the same time, the system accumulates data. So the video footage, of course, there's a 30-second video clip of each event. We can blur it, we can black it, but the main purpose of this data is to understand which vehicle or which driver is more prone to have an accident than another. So if I'm a fleet manager and I look at the report, one of the main things that was important for us is to quickly understand who are the people that I need to focus on, what are the common events that occur in my fleet, who is more probable to undergo an accident than another. If you can move to the next slide, we'll go a little bit, not a deep dive, but talk a little bit about the different functionalities. So we invested a tremendous amount of work in building this cloud platform that basically receives data from the device that's in the vehicles, and it generates actual driver and vehicle scores. So that way we can kind of filter and sort it by the people that are arguably the drivers that are more accident prone than others. We can create subfleets to kind of compare departments and understand what are the general trends, or if I have a fleet manager who's in charge of so-and-so amount of vehicles and another fleet manager who's in charge of a completely separate department, I can overview the complete fleet. We have driver and road video, so it's a dual camera. One camera is facing the driver's face and extracting information, and the other one is taking footage of the road and kind of synchronizing the video, so I'll know exactly what happened on each side of the car at a certain point in time. We're also able to view a live streaming of what's going on inside the vehicle that could be generated by a driver who wants to communicate or who wants the fleet manager to see what's going on. But I can also sit on the cloud platform in my office and see what's going on inside the car. Add users, we can add vehicle details, so I can put in kind of a fleet management system to work with. So I can put in all the vehicle details, license plate number, GVW, the kind of vehicle that I'm operating, etc. And I can cross this data with the driver information. So one of the functionalities that we've recently introduced is a way for the fleet manager to actually receive a notification or generate reports about drivers who are actually not authorized to drive certain vehicles. So that's another function that you can pull from the cloud platform. And of course, I can see trip summaries, so I know the mileage of each drive. I can see the events that were generated in each trip. And I can also pull a complete video if I had an incident and I want to see what exactly happened an hour before a certain event was generated. I'm able to pull it back from the cloud platform and view it in the comfort of my office. So that's a little bit about the cloud platform or the fleet management system, whichever you want to call it. But I'd like to dig a little bit deeper into the kind of brain, quote unquote, of the software, so you can understand what's going on inside this tiny device. If we could move to the video.
Sure, we'll jump in there in a sec. Before we do, I just want to touch on two things that Lee had mentioned, which I had skated over. One thing is facial recognition. So one of the big features of this software that I had neglected to mention earlier. So what that can do, the system can recognize your drivers. Now, Lee had just mentioned one way in which that can be used, which is to say, hey, this driver is not authorized to drive this vehicle. And that's really amazing. But one of the really amazing things about this is that when you have a dash cam that's making reports based on trips in a vehicle, for example, what happens when you have a fleet where you have multiple drivers switching between different vehicles? So you'll have a report from this dash cam, and it's making a report of the 10 drives that you had this week, and it's all over the place. You'll have, this drive was really great, this drive was really unsafe, this drive was, and it's your job now to sift through and see, okay, well, driver 2 was driving on this day, driver 3 was driving on this day. With facial recognition, the software can make you reports based on drivers. So it recognizes the driver, and it can make your report, okay, driver 2, here's his trips. It doesn't matter which vehicle he was in, you can get all the reports for this specific driver. I think that's really an amazing, amazing feature that is a huge time saver, and just really kind of nails down the accuracy in reporting. One other quick thing I want to jump into, or I want to mention before we jump into video, is I really didn't speak as much about another thing that Lee mentioned, which is the co-pilot aspect of the AI software. And I mentioned it briefly, but the ability to detect this unsafe behavior is great when we're going back and looking at it as a coaching tool, but it's even more great when we're talking about accident prevention. The ability to alert the drivers for things like fatigue, distraction, a lot of times that's, sometimes people just need a reminder that they've been looking away from the road for a few seconds, and they look back, and that could save a life right there. That could prevent an accident right there. People invest, or fleets invest, a lot of money into fatigue monitors and different things like that. This system incorporates all of that into one comprehensive system. Sorry, Lee, go ahead.
That's okay. Thanks, Nick, for elaborating. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that kind of reminding somebody to look at the road is as important, if not more, than to understand the trends of the drivers and who is more inclined to use a cell phone during a drive. I'm a father of two wonderful boys, but every time they ask me to switch a song on the infotainment system, or if I'm turning for 1 second, people don't realize that if you're driving, I don't know, 60 miles per hour, the distance that you cover while not looking at the road is basically driving blindfold. So that's definitely a negative contributor for accidents, and we need to be aware of that. So how does the software basically work? There is, as I mentioned, the camera that is pointed at the driver's face. It can recognize the driver. Of course, you can blur the image so to maintain the privacy levels. But basically, what we can see, Nick, do we have the video? Kevin?
Yes, Kevin, let's get that video up. Hang tight, folks. We're going to get some video to show you what the software is seeing.
Can you guys see?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
So basically what we're seeing here is a common video, a short clip of an event, and basically.
Oh, hang on, Lee. We lost you a second there.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned, the device has a dual camera. So what you see on the cloud platform is basically a divided screen, one showing the.
Losing audio again, Lee. Sorry.
Sorry, it keeps going to mute for some reason. So I'll try to keep it succinct as much as possible.
Yeah.
But what you can see basically is the driver generating events by speaking on the phone. This can occur also if, God forbid, he's falling asleep behind the wheel, also if he's keeping tabs on the phone or texting. And what the software does basically is track his head movement, his eye gaze vector, different telltale signs from the face and upper body in order to understand what's going on. So if I look at somebody's face and he's gradually falling asleep, you see the eyelids becoming heavy, you can see the famous head bob, kind of chin going down, these sort of things. What we trained our software to do is basically understand what happens with the driver inside the car from a computer vision standpoint. So we've learned, we've trained machine learning and deep learning so that this tiny device can actually track if the driver is holding something in his hand, like a mobile phone, if he's looking sideways with a chin, even if he's looking at the road, but just taking quick glances, short distractions towards his cell phone, that's something that I want to be aware of that. One more thing that I'd like to mention, we've also utilized other aspects that are not based on computer vision, like accelerometer events, to kind of embellish and make the data richer with understanding what is the level of let's say, risk that the driver is taking. So even if he is looking at the road, but he's speeding all the time, or he's taking harsh cornering or harsh braking, these sort of things, the G sensor that's inside the device can pick that up and upload the event into the cloud, so we can actually A, see what happened, and B, consider these events as positive or negative contributors to the driver and vehicle score.
That's a great point.
So
we're going to run that video one more time, and I want you guys on the webinar here, I want you to just pay attention to the driver's face and hands, and you can see the way that the software is going to track that. So Kevin, let's get that playing. Yep, muted me. Go ahead. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna play one more clip for you. This one from one of our customers who shared this clip with us. We've blurred the interior here, so we don't violate anyone's privacy. But I want you to watch at the top left over there. You can see that it's already showing a phone use warning. And we'll play this clip. Kevin, get that clip playing in a second. And you'll take a look. You'll see what other warning it's showing us here. Awesome. So as we can see in that clip there, we're getting an alert for phone use. It was able to accurately see that the driver was holding his phone, looking down at it. We also got an alert for a head bob, which is either an indication of looking down at your phone, falling asleep in many cases, or in some cases, maybe listening to some really good music. But usually it's going to be falling asleep or looking at your phone. So that's those are two alerts that one of our customers got for their driver, and they were able to recognize and see that their driver was using their phone while they were on the road in a pretty dangerous manner. We've blurred it enough to protect his privacy, but not enough that you can still see that he was looking down there at his phone, looking away from the road for extended periods of time. And again, probably most of us have fallen prey to this at some point or another, but it's a terrible, terrible behavior, as we all recognize, and being able to speak to our drivers and make sure that this behavior doesn't get out of hand or repeat is invaluable. Lee, anything to add on that?
No, just I don't know if this driver is wearing glasses, but I just wanted to point out that this does not affect the accuracy of the device. So even if the driver is wearing glasses, we're still able to track his eye gaze. We're still able to see that he's looking at his cell phone, and more often than not, unfortunately, this is a common behavior. And a lot of people ask, all right, what is the origin of accidents? And we're talking about, keeping the distance from the front car, etc. But a lot of the accidents could have been prevented by just putting the phone aside. So that's definitely something to consider.
Awesome. And actually, yeah, having seen the clip that he was wearing glasses, and yes, it does a phenomenal job of tracking the driver's eyes, glasses notwithstanding. We did have a setup with a camera displaying this software at the NTEA show a few months ago in Indianapolis. People were really blown away standing in front of it and seeing the software tracking their eyes live right in front of their eyes, tracking their hand movements and everything. It was a very powerful demo. We saw that in the first video, which showed kind of the behind the scenes of what the software, is actually seeing, and the way that it tracks the driver's eyes is really incredible to ensure that the driver actually has his focus where it should be on the road in front of them. Okay, hang on, let's skip right here. Sorry, this is the same thing. Okay, so over here we have a quick look at what the blurred and blackout feature would look like. So this here is Mike, and this is an image showing what the software sees. You can see it's tracked his hand here, his face, different points on his face, his eyes as well. This is with the full video, although this is a little toned down in quality. This is what it would look like if it was blurred, and if it were blacked out completely, this is what it would look like. So as you can see, the same tracking occurs. That is not affected by how the video is recorded. However, the driver privacy is affected based on whether you're blurring or blacking out the video or recording in full video. And that, like we'd spoken about earlier, not going to go over too much here, but that can really ease driver apprehension, but still getting all the safety features and the ability to help prevent accidents, in addition to getting alerts for when your drivers are behaving in an unsafe manner. Let's move past here. So in conclusion, we've spoken about a lot of the issues that are occurring on the road today with distracted driving. We have a good understanding, I hope, of how AI dash cams can really help to prevent accidents, can help our fleet managers and fleet owners to make sure that they are able to prevent their drivers from getting into accidents by recognizing unsafe behavior. And we've discussed how the MobileMule AI is really a superior system, priced incredibly. It's a system that I think you're going to be seeing a lot more out on the road. Take a look in people's windshields and you'll start seeing it out there. But it's really a game changer in the way that this is going to help increase safety, protect your driver's privacy, and prevent accidents, save fleets a lot of money, save a lot of lives out there on the road. We're ready to open it up to some questions now. So Kevin, if we can get Okay, I'm not sure if I think we might be having an issue with the test function here, which does mute me automatically.
You should be back in, yeah.
We should be back in. Okay. If anyone is able to, you should have a chat on the right-hand side. You should see a chat option there. If you're not able to access it, which I'm very sure that there are questions, so if we're not seeing any coming in, I'm guessing that some people are having issues with the chat function. If you're not able to access that, then I want you to feel free to reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to answer your questions. I will put my email address in the chat here, and I will tell it to you as well in case you're not able to see this chat. But my email address is nick.weinberg@safefleet.net. Nick is spelled how you'd expect. Wineberg is WINEBERG @safefleet.net. That's the name of our parent company, SafeFleet. And I'm looking forward to getting any questions from you guys that you might have about this software. We're happy to discuss this in greater detail. If anyone would like a more detailed look at the software side, we would be very happy to schedule a one-on-one webinar with you where we can demo the software for you, show you a little more in depth what it would look like for you to interact with it, and how it would, how you would deal with it on a day-to-day basis. Lee, any closing statements from you? I'll take that as a no. All right. Thank you very much to everybody for, yeah, Kevin?
Can you see, there are some questions, I can pull them out for you here.
Oh, okay, hang on. I'm not seeing them, so if you can tell me what they are, I'll be happy to.
Sure, not a problem. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, this is only to
Is the
organize
frame
the
rate of
house.
the video adjustable? Is the frame rate of the video adjustable?
Lee, you want to take that? Is Lee muted and you can't unmute?
Let me get. I think he might have to unmute himself. Hold on.
The answer to the question is yes.
Oh,
there you go. Hey,
There
Lee.
you go.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. So just as a small pointer, yeah, basically the quality of the video, we have default configuration that we recommend, but basically yes, you can adjust it. We have to be cautious to make sure that if there is a big, an extremely large amount of data that's something that we need to consider on the SD card because it'll just run out of memory quicker.
Okay. Another question here. Actually, I have, if you guys are ready. If a system is set to blur or blackout, can a clear view video be retrieved?
Good question, Lee.
The basic answer is no. We do have configurations that if an accident occurs, that's the only event that you would receive a clear image that occurred. But once once the fleet manager selects a certain privacy level, the system abides by it.
Okay. Are there auxiliary cameras that can be connected?
So yes, at this time we have the ability to connect a single auxiliary camera to the system. In the future, potentially more. For right now, it's one auxiliary camera that can be connected to it.
Okay. Can you read license plates during travel with your camera?
Absolutely. So the system records in 1080p. Both the interior and exterior cameras are 1080p cameras. Very high quality picture and absolutely has the ability to read license plates. Of course, a very valuable piece of information in any accident that might occur, especially some hit and run or something of that sort. Yes, you can read license plates, obviously within a reasonable distance, but at any distance where you're going to be getting into an altercation of some kind with another vehicle, you would be able to read the license plate.
Okay. What is the MSRP for the MobileMule AI?
Great question. So we actually have a $0 charge for the MobileMule AI hardware. This is our first subscription-based product that we're offering. We have a $45 a month charge for the platform or for the software or for usage, however you want to call it. That is based on a 3-year contract. However, there is a $0 charge for the hardware. Installation is very, very simple and can almost always be done in-house. You don't need to hire outside installers to come install this for you. So hardware and installation should be essentially a $0 cost for you with a $45 ongoing monthly fee. Read that question one more time, Kevin. MSRP, sorry. Okay, so the person that asked about MSRP, I'm wondering if they might be a dealer, someone that might have customers looking to get these systems from them. We do have dealer programs in place, pretty lucrative dealer programs in place, where our dealers are able to benefit from getting their customers signed up with the MobileMule AI.
Okay.
What else we got?
Okay. What SD card does it come with?
Lee?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. It comes with a 128 gig card, but it can be upgraded to 156. Don't forget that event clips are uploaded to the cloud platform, so any 30 seconds of an event is uploaded, as well as the trauma detection or accident detection that video clip, and that's stored in the cloud platform. So that's not a big worry.
Cutting a little in and out there, but essentially yes, 128 is the standard, can be upgraded to 256, but event footage is stored on the cloud, so that is protected. Even if the card is full, that footage is protected and available to you.
Okay, next question. You showed in-cab AI, but does it alert yellow light turning red AI, creating harsh braking, any outward-facing correction alerts? I would like to see the software demonstration later and a cost per unit quote. Does the software watch DOT logging regulations? There's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there.
Let's start.
Lee, let's start with yellow light turning red. I don't believe this tracks. I'll let you take it.
So basically, we're currently working on adding ADAS features to embellish the data inside. That will include forward collision warning, tailgating, and lane departure. So no, a yellow light turning red will not be a part of it. We are considering sign reading, so automatic sign reading, so we can know the speed limit at any given location, and then anything that exceeds the speed limit, you know, to a certain extent, will be uploaded as well as an event line, but no traffic lights.
These are features that are in the works, but not currently available at this moment. So just to add a little color to that, ADAS, as some of you might know, is a little bit, it's separate from what this is. There are a lot of ADAS systems out there, which basically, it's similar to what this system does, but for the road instead of the driver, and it'll give alerts for things like lane departure and close tailgating, things like that. So it's implementable into a system like this, but not currently a part of the system. Down the road, very well might be. No exact timeline for it right now.
Okay. Is the MobileMule AI software and platform integrated in GeoTab yet, or is it a standalone product?
So to
At
my
the
knowledge,
moment,
it's not. Yeah,
sorry,
it's not currently integrated in GeoTab. It's something that we've done with some of our other DVR software. So it's a possibility that we can add this, in the pretty near future. At this moment, it's not integratable into GeoTab. So for now, it's a standalone software.
Okay. Does it have parking mode?
Lee?
It does. The events are only triggered once speed is detected. So generally speaking, you're able to speak on the phone or look sideways if you're standing in a red light.
Okay. And what GPS tracking feature does it have?
So GPS tracking, Lee, correct me if I'm wrong here, but GPS tracking would be tied to the video. You'd be able to see the location of any of the footage taken. And that way you have GPS tracking. I'm not sure if, Lee, maybe you could tell me, is geofencing a part of the system?
Not yet, but it is in the plan. Yeah, you're correct. You're able to see the current location of the vehicle, the location of the vehicle, any route that the vehicle took during a trip. So you'll see that as well in the trips page, and the history of locations, of course.
How many more questions we got, Kevin?
I believe that is it.
That is it. Amazing. Okay. If anyone wants more information, please do check out the link that you see on my screen here, rearviewsafety.com/mobilemule-AI. You can also just go to rearviewsafety.com, and a little banner will direct you to that page pretty quickly. We look forward to getting any additional questions, comments, requests that any of you might have. And
sorry, one
more.
Oh, sorry,
one more.
Sorry to
go
interrupt
for
you.
it. One more.
Two more, actually. What is
Let's
the
go.
longest? Sorry, Nick.
No,
What
it's
is the
good.
longest time the camera can stay on while a vehicle is off before going into hibernation?
Lee?
That's not adjustable, first of all, and generally speaking, the camera is not on while the vehicle is parked.
Okay, and one more. How does the dash cam function in bad lighting condition, darkness, or bright lights?
Sure. So the interior camera, as you can see right here, there are infrareds around it, which means that you'll be able to see very well, even in darkness. The front camera, like any dash camera, is not going to have that. You're not going to really want that, but any area in front of the vehicle should be lit up at the very least by the vehicle's headlights.
Okay. And I believe that is it for the questions.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you once again to everyone that joined us today. Once again, looking forward to any questions, comments that you might have, and looking forward to maybe getting some MobileMule AIs in your vehicles very, very soon. Have a great rest of your day.
The recording of this webinar will be sent out to all attendees.
Thank you.